Welcome to Feature Fridays. My name is Guy Bartram. I'm Director of Product Marketing for our cloud providers in VMware. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Sashi and Manish. Welcome back, guys. Sashi, let's start with you. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Sachi. I'm a technical product manager with focusing on Tanzu product integration with VMware Cloud Director platform. And today we are going to talk about data solutions extension.
Thanks, Sashi. And Manish, welcome.
So my name is Manish Arora. I'm the Director of Product Management, part of the cloud provider business, mainly focused on all of Tanzu portfolio for our cloud provider business, along with all the sovereign cloud offerings, solutions that we're putting out.
Thanks, Manish. Well, let's start with maybe some positioning from you, Manish. Like the data services extension is for delivering new data services directly from Cloud Director. This obviously has appeal to existing cloud providers, but also particularly our sovereign cloud providers who want to provide data services within their environment, within their kind of jurisdiction and control. Where did this kind of requirement come from? How did it originate for you guys?
Yeah, so that's a great question, right? So what we're seeing is that more and more of our VMware Cloud Director deployments, in the partner environments, and using Cloud Director as an orchestration layer, a management engine, so to speak, as part of the core platform. That enables self-serve consumption model for our partners is becoming more and more critical, right? So when it comes to having data services extensions through the Cloud Director platform, it's really focusing on ease of use, simplifying the overall management and the operations for these data services on Kubernetes platform. And then, providing, our partners, our cloud partners with a public cloud-like experience, with the simplified, user management aspect of managing, these different data services for which the portfolio is growing rapidly. We just added RabbitMQ and, the SQL. Mm-hmm. And we have a roadmap to bring in additional data services to enable, some of the No-SQL use cases, along with the modern AI/ML use cases for our partners.
Yeah, I think it's something that as cloud providers get more and more customers wanting to drive more and more services on their platform, having a solution that fully automates the delivery of data services like No-SQL or VMware SQL or RabbitMQ. It's going to be really important. But critically, what's the difference between this and me being able to already do something like this with the application launchpad, for example, and using a instance of like MongoDB from the cloud marketplace? What's the key difference there between that and this extension?
So for providers, we have added advantage where providers can offer these services as service add-on to what customers can do from open source community. The other advantage for cloud provider is that we provide very nice user interface where developers or customer or admins can actually go and install and manage the operators on top of Kubernetes clusters. Mm-hmm. So you can think of it as a development environment versus production ready services using data solution extension. Mm-hmm. And the other advantage we can see in the later in the presentation is that we provide lifecycle management of these extend the database services. So we don't have to perform manual upgrade by logging into cluster. You can manage everything using the data solution extension. So nice. Yeah, it provides a very nice ease of use for cloud provider for managing services, and for customers, it's production ready data solutions like RabbitMQ, VMware SQL, where they can not only think about managing lifecycle, but also thinking about like when they are transitioning from monolith, like when they are trying to enter the microservice architecture, they can think about looking at database also being as part of microservice architecture. So that whole journey can be transitioned using data solution extension.
Okay, great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So a lot more kind of automation in terms of life cycle, and like you both mentioned, right, particularly focused on running on top of potentially a Kubernetes environment. So does this have any mandates, Sashi, for CSC with Cloud Director?
Yes. So to get started with that, let me quickly just give you what we are trying to do here. Okay. So data solutions, what we try to do, what our vision is that VMware Tanzu Kubernetes Grid will be basis for all app modernization stack, and for VCD, container service extension is the basis for that provides us the solid Kubernetes runtime for customers, and like a good extension for Kubernetes as a service for cloud provider. And then on top of that, we are trying to build add-on solutions, and data services is one of them. So you are absolutely right. We need a container service extension as the underlying requirement to get started with data services. Okay, that makes sense. And is it compatible with CSE 4.0 or any previous versions? Yeah, 4.0 is the basis because that's where we have re-architected the appliance, the cluster API, the multi-control plane support. All these features are already part of that. So we would like to get started with that solid foundation. So that's the reason we are looking at CSE 4.0 as the underlying requirement. Okay. Yeah.
And just quickly on this, the slide that we are showing here, Guy, this is overall, gives you a really good view of, what are all the new innovations that we are bringing to our sovereign cloud portfolio. As we all know, that sovereign cloud is a VMware company-wide strategic initiative. We announced it in VMworld back in 2021. And since then, the company has built an entire business model around it and a go-to-market as well as a sales program for it. And, fast forward to last year in Explore in Barcelona, we continue to generate quite a buzz and momentum for VMware. We had a tier 1 press release that went out when there was an extensive coverage in our CEO's keynote. So overall, sovereign cloud have created awareness across the entire, provider community, and this, just quickly, I know the focus here is on the DSC data service extensions today, but just quickly, since you're projecting this slide, right? So there's 4 key innovation areas for us, in terms of the overall sovereign cloud business, right? So just to continue to shape the agenda in the market. And the first one is around like continuous compliance and monitoring, which we're integrating with our VMware ARIA operations management platform. We're adding compliance capabilities for our sovereign environments there. We have a 20-point sovereign controls that we're implementing as part of the ARIA compliance pack. Yeah. And the second one is around like, getting the app modernization platform sovereign cloud ready, which is bringing the VMware Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, which is the runtime. That's where the containers and Kubernetes run. Bringing that, locally, without any hyperscaler dependency as part of the sovereign cloud portfolio. With the day zero, all the operations built in for load balancing and cluster lifecycle management. And then, going into the developers and the data services, right? So this is where, we'll spend most of the time today talking about the new solutions that we launched and their integration with the Cloud Director along with the CSC, the Container Service Extension Stack. And then on the jointly engineered ecosystem solutions, we are expanding our best-in-class ISV partnerships. So for example, with Fortanix, we're providing this highly scalable key management solution. And, this becomes very important, as for sovereign environments where providers will give the keys to the customers and they won't have any access to the keys, and the customer will own the keys and have access, on their own, managing the encryption, decryption operations. Similarly, with data protection, we have partnership with Cloudian and Veeam. And then, their solutions like ransomware is, we're getting a lot of interest there, working with, Veeam and Cloudian to enable, providers with the immutable storage that cannot be encrypted by ransomware. So overall, as you can see, we're accelerating innovation for sovereign cloud providers, right? When we launched this initiative a couple of years ago, it was all focused on data sovereignty. But what we are delivering now is really innovation, right? It's the power of and that, we've been talking about. It's both sovereignty and innovation for our providers, customers, and developers. And that's how, we're leading the industry and shaping the agenda in the market. I thought just to put that out there, since we had that slide, of course, we can continue to focus more on the data service extensions,
Yeah, and a lot of these services, although these are, a lot of what's on this is specifically focused at sovereign cloud, there is also this, the data solutions and Tanzu Kubernetes grid that are available to all our cloud partners, right? So today we're going to zoom into the data service extension available as an extension for VCD available to all partners. And obviously all partners now are running TKG 2.0, effectively new TKG runtime. So they've all got this kind of baseline of delivering containers with CSC on TKG and now delivering the data services on top of that. Okay, so actually let's go forward.
All right. So yeah, here is what we have for overall data solutions for cloud providers. There are 4 main key areas. First is VMware SQL. Second is Gemfire. Third one is RabbitMQ, and the last one is Greenplum. Out of which, we just launched Data Solutions extension release 1.1. So now we support 2 out of 4. First is the SQL. So Postgres and MySQL is available today. And we also introduced RabbitMQ with the latest release. And so I discussed earlier, the main value add here is that when a customer is trying to navigate from monolith architecture to microservices architecture, or they are trying to leverage data services on their existing microservice architecture, now they can start using these services to load all these database on top of the Tanzu Kubernetes cluster. And so it removes a lot of operational overhead from customer and provider in terms of installing and managing the operators, performing the database upgrades, and exposing it for some test environments. Also small use cases. All these have been handled very nicely by the Data Solutions extension. And the stack for VMware Cloud Provider is this. So we start supporting this from VCD, say 10.3.1. I know 10.4.1 is out now, but this is the a very baseline stack. We are going to start supporting Data Solutions extension. And CSE 4.2 is a requirement because that is going to provide us the multi-control plane based Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, where we are going to install these database services on top. So on a very high level, there are two different workflows where you are going to run a service in solutions org, where your service extension is going to run and maintain all the templates, like the sizing templates for these data solutions, and also the instances where these data services are running. The UI plugin for provider, which is going to be management interface and a dashboard for holistic view for all tenant organization. There will be operator installer in the picture, which is going to be exposed when UI plugin is exposed to the customer organization to manage all the operators. And developer is also going to interact with this extension using the UI plugin. And as you can see, these can be deployed on top of the Tanzu Kubernetes cluster. Now, an additional flow I would like to highlight here is that we do support air-gapped environment. So we are aware of topology where you are connected, you have inbound internet connectivity with your Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, but data solution extension is air-gapped ready today. So if you are hosting a local container registry such as Harbor, you can actually clone all the images from our official VMware Tanzu public registry locally. So you can provide some internet restrictions where your cluster is not going to be exposed
to the internet,
yes, exactly. So this provides really nice advantage for providers and customers who are looking for air-gapped solution. So
especially, does that that local container registry, does that run, is that an automated thing that is done on deployment time, or is that something that's set up per customer, per org?
Yeah, so this container registry is currently comes under providers configuration. So providers will have to host say Harbor registry locally on their VCD infrastructure. It can be on the Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, or it can be in a VM form factor locally hosted on VMware Cloud Director, and it can be connected or connected to synchronize with the public registry.
Is that a manual thing then they would have to set up?
Registry they have to set up manually, definitely, but you can set it up to pull in images from the public registry. So it's something that providers will have to support if they are planning to provide air-gapped support.
Okay.
Which is kind of standard practice where providers are going to provide Harbor registry to host their images to customers.
Yeah.
Okay. And so provider admin, so there are three main user personas in picture. One is the provider admin, who is going to onboard the service, manage the access to customer organization, manage the publish rights, and like the version that's available to different customers based on the like what they want to offer. On the tenant side, we have capabilities to install and manage the like specific data solution operator for a specific cluster. They can have their own dashboard of consumption, like which service is running on which cluster, how many instances are running, what's the usage, things like that. And they can also upgrade the operator to upgrade the solution if you have new version of, say, RabbitMQ or PostgreSQL is available to them. They can perform an upgrade in their maintenance window. And last but not the least is the consumer of the service, who is going to perform different operations on the instance they have created. they can also rotate the credentials, which is very essential when they are uh, connecting it with different services. We allow them to expose it using a service type load balancer. We allow them to configure high availability, the TLS certificates, things like that. And one thing I forgot to mention was that all these services can be monitored using Prometheus and Grafana dashboards for their consumption also. So it provides very nice holistic view of like consumption of the services that's running on the top of the Kubernetes cluster. So
Sashi, I've got just two questions on that. So first of all, in terms of the upgrade procedure, obviously letting lots of customers know there's a maintenance window and you're going to be upgrading the database. What's the process, or is there a process of informing customers that this is going to happen in terms of ECD? Do you use an alert or some sort of message to get the customer aware it's going to happen?
So I can walk you through that in the demo, but there are two upgrades here. When we are talking about the upgrade, it's the database upgrade. When we are addressing the tenant, when we are looking at provider, it's about managing the extension version and allowing their customers to see when they are trying to, like after they have performed the upgrade on DSC, they can start offering, saying that upgrade is new available on the instance itself. In the dashboard itself, you can see that you are running on, say, version 1.0 and 1.1 is now available, something like that.
Okay. And the second thing, simple yes or no, but I'm kind of hoping that there's some way of metering this information.
So right now you can use VCD API to see the number of running instances. So right now there are two APIs you can actually use to see how many instances of data services are running as a provider, and you can filter it by like what is the solution type to get the usage. The reporting is manual as of now. That's something providers will have to report manually, but at least they can look at the instances type from the VCD API as well.
Yeah, it's more for the service providers to charge their tenants if they're going to charge on a per instance basis, a managed instance of, VMware SQL or whatever it might be. You raise a good point there, Manish. Is there any cost associated with running the data services today?
So the data services have been part of the VCPP portfolio since last year. With the extensions, of course, there's no additional, cost related to getting the extensions, through the VCD, the Cloud Director platform. So if you already have a data services that you've been, provider managed offering, now you can, take full advantage of the self-service consumption model. With the extensions running for these services.
Okay, cool.
I'll start with the provider persona and then I'll move on to the customer organization. So in this example, I installed a data solution extension 1.1. The deliverable is in format of ISO. So you can mount that on any operating system which is running in your cloud solutions organization. And once you are ready, you can actually just using the single command to install the extension. And you can see there are like multiple elements. One of them is the UI plugin. The other one is the user role and the rights bundles required to perform these data solution operations, which needs to be published to different users, and the different sizes of data solutions instances. So in this example, you can see we have created for the SQL and RabbitMQ and Postgres over here. And once that is complete, you can actually see when you log into the cloud provider portal, you can see Data Solutions extension. And to publish it, like always, we navigate to Customize Portal and publish it to the users. So right now it's already published. So I'll just log in as a system admin who is going to get started with the solution. So to get started, we'll add the container registry. In this example, I'm just going to use the default registry who is hosting the images for us. And then for each solution, you are actually going to you can actually customize these settings based on each solution. So you can fine tune if you are hosting it for SQL, say you are hosting it locally, or you may want to just connect it to different registry. So something you can perform operation over here. And once this is done, you can navigate to onboarding, where you can see number of available solutions, and you can choose to publish or unpublish to different customer organization. So in this example, I have already published this to one of the tenants. So, and since I performed the upgrade from 1.0 to 1.1, these two are new and needs to be published to the tenants. So I'm going to perform a publish operation. So that's that extension will be published to the tenant. Yes?
That's a good point there, Satish, Sashi. So do we have to upgrade the extension plugin for every new version of a data service? Like MySQL has come out, Postgres has come out. Do we need to, if there is a new data service available with new automation, does that require the new data service extension?
Yes, I think the answer to that is I don't think we fetch updates to each version. Just like CSE, we qualify each and every TKG version. Here, we have to update the extension to the newer version to start offering those specific solutions.
I guess my question is, if RabbitMQ came out with version 1.4, I would get that from the registry. But if we started MongoDB, I would then need a new data service extension download.
Yeah, so right now over here, you can see we don't have 1.4 available with 1.1 today.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So if 1.4 came out, would I need to upgrade to 1.2 of data service extension or whatever the next version was?
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it. Right.
Yeah. And then over here, we will have different sizes of the instances. So sometimes like we would like to publish only small size of the templates. We have option to actually change the label from featured to non-featured. So in that case, this will be still listed to customers' view, but it won't be highlighted on top as a preferred template size. And that's all from the provider side. Now I will switch to the tenant view. So over here, I am going to just quickly log out and log back in. So now I'm logging in as a tenant admin, user persona, and see the data solutions extension. So in this environment, I have already created a Kubernetes cluster that can be used to actually install the operator. So here you can see I haven't performed any operation. So I'm going to say install operator. And with that, you can see these available solutions to me. And once the operator is installed successfully, we are going to be able to launch any of the solution on top of that Kubernetes cluster. So here, once the operator is installed, you are actually going to see the cluster, and you can select the instance itself. And over here, you are actually going to set some advanced setting if interested. So this is where all the customization we were talking about is possible. So we can configure the management console. So if you are launching a RabbitMQ instance, you can actually open the console directly to the instance to log in and get started. You can enable TLS. You can, for testing purpose, if you are exposing the service by load balancer, you can actually do that. And whatever changes you make is actually going to be reflected in this manifest YAML file. And once that is available, you can simply click on create. So that will create the instance on top of your Kubernetes cluster.
Is that load balancer configuration going to call the advanced load balancer control by CSE?
Yes, that is correct. So once we say expose service by load balancer is actually going to create a new service type load balancer on the cluster. And it's actually going to assign an IP based on your configuration you have done from the external network pool, or it can reuse the IP. That's a new feature in 10.4 release. So you can get that external IP with the like whatever port protocol you have used, and use that service to expose. So all this workflow is automated. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. Where do you do the configuration of the in this case the MQ instance and of the IP address? Is it just going to automatically take from the pool, or can you override that?
So yeah, you have to, like right now it's going to take from the available pool as of now. I haven't explored like if I can specify the static IP that I'm planning to reuse. I haven't tested, but I think something we can check later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave for now. If you want, we can wait, or just like once this is available, you can actually launch the instances and look at the instances from this panel over here, and then we can see the upgrade option. Like if the upgrade is available for that specific solution, we can perform an upgrade using single click over here. So these are like one single pane of glass for all three, or like whenever there is a new add-on solution is there, it's going to be available here for provider and for tenant. So using single UI, you can create and manage instances, perform upgrade on it. So all those things can be done using the data solution extension.
And I can see grayed out here, Open Management Console and Open Grafana portal as well. So does that do automatically do the configuration for Grafana then?
Yes. So in this example, I have installed the Tanzu add-on package already. There is a documentation available, but when you are opening it, you can actually see the nice dashboard on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. That's cool.
Yep. So yeah, in interest of time, I'll stop sharing, but we can discuss this later. Yeah. Okay. So that was the DSC 1.1 for us. We just launched today.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you, Sashi. So there's quite a lot there to kind of get your head around. So offline mode makes sense, and I can see how you can do that individually now and do that on a per service basis as well. Pulling the images from the cloud marketplace, then upgrading your DSC extension so you've got the latest images available to you So the DSA extension basically, am I right in saying that it kind of bundles all the automation to do those specific applications and versions?
Yes, yes,
Right.
that is correct.
That's why you need it. You need a new version every time there's a new version of an application.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then you've got that, deploy the operator. Once that's deployed, everything kind of appears for you, and off you go.
Yep, that is correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sashi. And over to you, Manish, for some kind of final thoughts on this one. Where do you see this going, and what's the kind of future look like for data service extension? You mentioned MongoDB, and what are there plans to build out more, and what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, so overall, I think our goal and vision is to provide more and more capabilities to our providers so that they can offer full stack deployments to their end users, to their end customers, and having such extensions integrated with a core management platform such as Cloud Director. It goes a long way, helping providers, offering the self-service consumption model to their tenants. And, when we're building these offerings, right, we're keeping in mind all the personas, right? It's enabling the developer community, but also, making sure the provider admin, the tenant admin, the tenant users, taking a holistic point of view on making sure that, we have the manageability and the serviceability and all the LCM features built in from all the different personas. And overall, I think, as you are aware, VMware is leading the industry when it comes to sovereign clouds, right? So this is also an important innovation when it comes to our sovereign cloud initiative, getting these data service extensions. Now, going forward, we are going to continue to have additional investments and R&D efforts to provide more of these data services. For example, we're looking into No-SQL as a service. There's several of these No-SQL databases that are proven robust and have good market share out there, such as MongoDB, Cassandra, MariaDB, things like that. So we're looking in that area to bring, the No-SQL offering as part of the VCPP portfolio for some of the big data, AI and ML kind of use cases. And then we're also looking into enabling some of the edge computing stack use cases. And when we talk about edge computing, looking at more of the real-time processing. So Kafka, similar to the message broker RabbitMQ, which is more for batch processing use case. Kafka would enable Kafka as a service for providers would enable more of the real-time processing, ETL and reverse ETL and those kind of data pipeline use cases, which more suitable for edge computing as well. I think the portfolio on the data service will continue to evolve and grow as we hear more of partner feedback and interest in these services.
And is there any thought about looking at obviously we've got the VMware application catalog, the old Tanzu application catalog, which provides a lot of additional kind of pipeline testing that VMware does of these open source applications for providers to then subscribe to and download and put into their local repository, pretty much the same way that we've seen you do this today, but all outside of ECD. Is there any kind of thoughts of looking at building in some of those applications as well into the data service extension?
Yeah, so that's a great point, right? So VMware application catalog, for those who are not aware of, it's a curated, enterprise grade repository for application images, and it provides, testing production level support from VMware. and getting that application catalog integrated with the core VCD platform is something is on the roadmap that we're looking into. So we want to get that integrated with the VCD. We're building a content management infrastructure, so to speak, a framework as part of the core Cloud Director stack, the architecture, and getting application catalog integrated with that framework is gonna help quite a bit, like you mentioned. So there's definitely investment going into that area for sure in the future.
Great. So multiple ways of skinning the cat, as we say, but you've got the VMware application marketplace, which is free for all cloud providers today. You've now got the DSC, the Data Service Extension 1.1, offering you No-SQL, RabbitMQ. Pretty soon we'll have MongoDB and others joining the pack there for automation. So I think this is a big step up from where the app launchpad was to be able to just deploy an instance. This is now building in all the lifecycle management that you need for a production instance. And then if you want to go that whole step further and have enterprise grade production tested and ready from VMware, then you've obviously got the VMware application catalog, but that's a chargeable feature under our SaaS portfolio. And at the moment, like you say, it's not something that's integrated from the automation side of things with VCD, but we'll see more of that in the future, I'm sure. Manish, Sashi, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate you going through it. I think it's a great solution. So pleased to see another data service extension coming to VCD. I'm sure it's going to make a difference for our partners looking to expand their portfolios. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Guy. Always a pleasure to join you and discuss new innovations at VMware.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.